Hello and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup Podcast. I'm Tommy, joined by John.
How's it going?
Good. We moved the china cabinet into the house yesterday and my back doesn't hurt. It's a good day. And
That
it's
is a good
Mother's
day.
Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. If you haven't said Happy Mother's Day to your mother, say Happy Mother's Day. It's the day.
For sure. I don't think any mothers are listening to this, though.
No, but people are listening that have mothers.
That's
and
right.
may need that reminder. And so that's why we're recording it in the morning and not ulterior motives so we can play more games later.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
John and I were hoping to get games in and talk about that on the podcast this week, but we'll be talking about that next week because we're getting together later today and playing some card games, some Magic, some Winston, some Commander. It'll be fun.
Yeah. What are we talking about this week?
Talking about a bunch of stuff about how this is the way to collect shiny cardboard in Star Wars, in Sorcery, in Magic, in Flesh of Blood. I think those are all the games we're touching on today.
Sounds like it.
Usual crew. Got a bunch of stuff. It's like spoiler season for all these games besides Sorcery. Well, is it technically spoiler season for Sorcery? We've started to get some spoilers for the second set.
I mean, if you count from the very first spoiler, it's been spoiler season for 6 months or something.
Okay. Like, no, never mind.
The first art was shown like a while ago. So they're just doing like one every month or couple weeks or whatever. It's not like at the card reveal stage yet.
Gotcha. Well, we are at the card reveal stage for Shadows of the Galaxy, for Mistveil, for Modern Horizon 3.
Modern Horizon, yeah. We're always at Magic reveal day.
It's, oh my goodness. Aren't they starting to show up Bloomburrow cards too?
I haven't seen any,
but I saw some YouTube
not happening. I don't pay
thumbnails about it,
because it's constant.
Yeah.
Just like whatever. If I happen to see something, there's like one period where it really picks up, and then I'll look at the Reddit that has like all of them and just skim through them all real quick. And anything I think is really interesting, I'll like post it in the Discord or whatever. But otherwise, yeah, I just kind of ignore it because it's constant.
Yeah. So where do we want to start?
Well, let's start in the usual place. What did you play this week?
What did I play this week? I played Star Wars Unlimited. I played a John deck that I decided that is what it is. It is the blue Vader deck that won the 5 or 4K down in Florida. I wanted to change things up from Leia and just go on the other side of the spectrum from aggro to control. And dear Lord, I thought that this game is really showing that the deck building is very open. And I don't with all the testing that has been going on, like even because we still only have the first set, right? And people have been playing with the first set months before the game came out. So you would think some kind of meta would have stabilized by now, but I think the way they built the game, it's even with this limited card pool, it's still changing all the time. With these big events that are happening every weekend. And like I thought out of aspect cards where you have to pay 2 more, it was just bad. Like it was just a bad idea to do. But you only have 1 blue in this Vader deck because Vader's red-black. But you play Vigilance, even though it costs 4, it now costs 6, but it's still worth it. Basically, the idea of the deck is to make your opponent not have any fun and kill everything as soon as it comes out. And then at the end of the game, you mill them. Well, depending on the matchup, but in a lot of them, you end up just milling them because they take 3 damage every time they're supposed to draw a card. And can't. So, and in Vigilance, you get to choose 2 of these options, which is discard 6 cards from an opponent's deck, heal 5 damage to your base, defeat a unit with 3 or less remaining HP, and then give a shield to you. You almost never do the shield, but defeating a unit can be very good against aggro. Healing 5 can be very good in the mirror of control, and discarding 6 is also good when you're towards the end of the game.
Now, do you think the slow development of the meta is purely around like there's just not it's new, it's a new game, right? People haven't organized and
Hmm.
like the hardcore teams don't exist yet, and so the meta is slower to be discovered because people are kind of doing it on their own. Or is it I mean, I don't feel like the game's more complex than other card games, right? It
No,
seems
I
like
just
it's
think
pretty
there's,
straightforward.
yeah, I just think that there are so many combinations because you're not limited technically. Like some decks are now playing complete out of aspect cards and just willing to pay the extra two because it's
Yeah,
that good in that situation.
got it. I see.
So
It's just
like,
edge cases that seem or that are unobvious.
yeah, that are
Got
starting to pop out.
Yeah, 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 that makes sense. Yeah, I think that will change. It will go faster, because I think I'm trying to think back. Like we didn't play during WTR and Fab, but
Yeah,
if you think back in Fab, it was a very basic game in WTR. Just thinking a WTR set,
yeah,
I don't think people were very organized. But then later, as the like hardcore competitive teams came together,
yeah,
it was a different story. Like meta got pretty solved pretty quick because people were focused on breaking the meta, right?
right.
Whereas now it's one set, like you kind of don't want to break the meta because this is all you got for now.
I also think because of one of the differences, key differences that I don't think you can really compare Fab to Star Wars is Fab at the in the beginning stages is what I'm talking about. There were 4 heroes, right? There are 16, I believe, heroes in the first set for Star Wars. So you can't. There is no. I don't know if there can be a best deck because there are always decks that there aren't enough sideboard slots to cover the field.
It's an explicit design of maybe not rock paper scissors, but you know what I mean. Like because
Yes,
there's so many heroes, because you can't cover with a sideboard, you're always going to have something you're weak against.
correct.
Yeah, 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 makes sense.
Yeah. And so because of that, the metas revolve. It's not. I wouldn't. Maybe we change it from the evolving meta to revolving.
Yeah, it's just yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder if
So,
that's true nationwide. If you are playing Star Wars somewhere other than PA
oh,
or Midwest,
I've been following the events that have been happening all over.
I'm just
Yeah,
curious if other people have like leave a comment. Let
yeah.
let me let us know. Like what's your current best deck or scary deck or whatever in your shop? And I'm curious if it's like very revolving everywhere or if it kind of falls on a trend, via YouTube communication and whatnot. You know what I mean?
I think
Discord,
that's it.
etc.
The
Yeah.
YouTube Discord communication.
Yep.
And now that there's Karasat, there's a Talishar. So if you are familiar with Flesh and Blood and play Talishar, you can now play Star Wars that same way, and it's great. I'm so happy. I'm going to be playing a lot less Arena, John.
Yeah, fair enough.
I have been playing that too. I know we'll get more into Star Wars when, but basically that deck is super fun, and I've been enjoying
Nice.
it. But there was my third game. I went 2-1 again, but it was my first week playing the deck, and my second win was in the game 3, and I felt dirty. Like I got up from the table and I was just like, I feel bad about that.
Are you saying I'm an evil player? Is that what you're saying?
No,
When you
it's
play
just like,
John decks, you feel dirty? Is that what you just said?
well, yeah, maybe.
It is what you just said.
Yeah, yeah. Because like we both had 30 health bases. No, he had the 25 health, I had the 30. He was at like 13 and I was at like 24, and I had just finished emptying his deck, and the turn before I had drawn 2 copies of Vigilance.
Mhm.
So I played one that turn and then one the next turn, and then that did enough damage just by like I maybe played 2 or 3 units the entire game, and the rest was just removal spells.
I mean, that's the strategy. Now, is there a counter to that at all? Because if there's not, then yeah, I would feel dirty too. If there is and he just didn't have it, then that's just meta rotation, like you're saying. You're just ahead of the meta.
It's he has to over like certain, not all decks have a counter to it.
Yeah, see, because it sounds like I don't know the game well,
Yeah.
but from what I know, because there's no equivalent of a counter spell to removal, right?
Right.
There is a very limited response to that kind of play. And I would feel dirty playing that too.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was like a different color or a different way, and my thought, and again, don't know the game well, the red, the real fast, small unit
Mm-hmm.
kind of decks may be the answer because you can get multiple out at a time. I
No,
don't know
well,
how removal works though. Does that wipe the board or what?
yeah. So you have 3 super laser blasts that wipe the entire board.
Yeah, that see if there's no counter, like there's literally no way to deal with that. That is kind of dirty.
Well, the hero side does have a way to deal with it. Villainy doesn't really. Hero side has, so your Leias and your Sabines
Hmm.
are the two that you're really going to see this in, is U-Wing. And it allows you to play a bunch of really cheap units in your deck and take advantage of that later in the game. As a 7-drop, you get to search the top 10 cards of your deck, find cards that add up to a value of 7, and play those units all at once.
Yeah.
So my only option to then, if I don't kill that with a super laser blast, I lose.
Yeah. Is there a, I mean, sorry, for the board wipes, does shield work against it?
Nope.
Okay. It's just remove the
It's
target,
remove, yeah.
remove everything. Yeah,
Yep.
not do damage. Got it.
But that is a balancing act you have to do throughout the game because some of your removal does go through shields and some does not.
Yeah, see, that was the one thing I was like, there might be a
So
way to build it so you can
your
avoid most of the
yes,
damage to the units, and then you just have to play well.
yeah. So you do have to play well in the early game, and the longer the game goes on, the higher your chance of winning. That's just control.
Right,
Like
right.
you want the game to go long, and if the
Yep.
game goes long, you're probably gonna win.
Progressively outvaluing.
Correct. Yeah.
That's the whole point of control.
Yeah.
That's why I love it, because
Yeah.
I like to just micro win. They don't realize I'm winning until it's too late.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. But it just to bring them from like 13 to just dead.
I know.
With
I
one
get
card.
you. I get you. Sometimes it feels bad, but
Yeah.
most of the time it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
Because I got to play all 3 vigilances that game.
Wow.
So that's 18 cards from the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got to play some Magic this week. I played a couple decks. This is fun. I took the COVID booster,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was starting to hit hard as I was playing. So the first game was fine. I played my Dragon deck and won. It's a really good deck, and they had played against it before. They were playing little jank things they didn't really know for sure. So it was just like it's one of those that if you don't deal with it, it just outvalues you. And they did a board wipe, and because it's a fast recovery deck, it just came back and ate them with dragons.
Cool.
Yeah, which is fun, easy. I'm starting to get bored of it though, because it happens too easily. I figured someone would have come up with a answer to my dragons by now, but they have not. The other one I played, and this was as the shot was giving me the like fever. I was like shaking, like literally
Mm-hmm.
having a hard time not shaking, and it kept taking forever. And it's this Narcy deck which does sagas and stuff. And I have tweaked that deck. I think I talked about it before, where it was just like it can do this combo thing, and it's amazing when it works, but it doesn't always work because combo stuff is hard. And what ended up happening this time is I had tweaked it so that I could manage what are they called? Counters, like the saga counters and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which allows me to keep them on board longer. Well, I happen to put down this, it's a 6 cost, right? It's expensive saga that when it hits the board, and then the second step of the saga, it exiles target non-land, right, from the opponents.
Okay.
So it hides them. And, a saga is only around for 3 turns. So you think, okay, it's not that big a deal, 3 turns. Well, one guy only had his commander out, which was key to his strategy. So I did that, and I was like, you can take it back and pay 2, or you can wait 2 turns and get it back when this thing dies. And then I got out my token manipulation, so it didn't die.
Oh no.
So I stole his commander for the whole game. And it was, I will be honest, not only was I sick and not feeling well, right? But it was a terrible game. Like
Yeah.
I ended up losing. I ended up basically giving away the game because it kind of felt bad. But essentially it kept doing that every turn, right? And it kept their boards empty. One guy was mana screwed, the other guy was dependent on his boss. And so I just kept taking one off board every turn and then bringing that token back. And so their board states were non-existent. My board state wasn't progressing because I didn't get enough card draw. So it was a very stuck game. It was very unfun. I felt bad. And then at the end, when they finally figured out a way to get rid of it, I was actually going to let it die. And then I was like, but don't attack me. And the guy attacked me. And I was like, all right, then I'm going to keep it going. And when I went to keep it going, they did a deflecting swat to push the token change to a different saga, which allowed it to die. And they got all their stuff back. And right before that happened, I had a free attack turn where I could have just like killed either of them. And I chose to split the damage. And when I did that, it didn't kill either of them, which then allowed me to die. I did get assassinated. The guy was playing with the new cards from the Assassin's Creed set.
Mhm.
And there's a really cool, he's using it as a commander. I think it's just a black card in there. Or no, actually, it might be all color card.
Is it?
'cause
That's
I
not
think-
out yet, though, is it?
No, but you can play. We were playing on TTS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Oh, does TTS like have a full mod now? Because I remember last time we did it.
Oh yeah, it's great. Like we can
Okay.
play Commander anytime you want. Like we should,
Oh,
if you want. That's what I was talking about last night.
yeah.
I was
I
like,
just
why don't we just
I remember
jump
the
on and
last
play?
time we did it, and that was awful.
Oh no, it's easy. It's
Yeah.
very good. It's similar to like the Fab with the buttons that do stuff automatically.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's well done. Yeah. Anyways, speaking of, if you want it, go look for it. It's called like Magic Commander Deluxe. It's the
Okay.
mod for TTS. Yeah,
Cool.
just for those out there if
Yeah.
they're interested. If you're gonna mention something, you should tell people how to get to it.
Absolutely. Or they could ask in the comments.
That's true. Ask in the comments. But either way, Commander Deluxe, something like that. And so, anyways, I ended up losing. He assassinated me, which was kind of fun to see it go off because that's what he was trying to get to the whole time. I can't remember the exact mechanic, but it's basically like if you're under 10 and they hit you that turn, the player that turn, they can automatically make that person lose and they automatically win. So it's an assassination mechanic. It's tricky to pull off, and at that point I'm shaking and can't even like speak without shivering. You know what I mean? Like I'm dying, and I forgot that that's what it did, and I saw it coming, and I didn't block, and so he got his hit in on me, and then he did the assassination thing. But that other guy did not have to attack me. He chose to attack me. It was so offensive. It's like, dude, I've been nice to you the whole time. Except for stealing his entire board state. I think he was just frustrated.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was a wild game. It was a wild game, and being somewhat fever delusional, it was even more wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough. I do not like the Moderna shot compared to the Pfizer one.
Yeah, I need to get my most recent booster.
Yeah, I got sick twice in the last like 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely wanted to be boosted again for what is usually the summer wave.
Yeah.
I'll be off in the fall, which may suck because I'm traveling in the fall, but we'll see. Just gotta roll the dice.
Speaking of rolling the dice, I played some Star Wars Shatterpoint last night.
Oh yeah,
which was fun. It was fun. I got stomped, but I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun. I played Anakin Obi with a bunch of clones, and it's been a while since I've played, so I didn't remember the rules. So a buddy of mine was walking me through it, and didn't go great. I did wound a couple, so that felt good, but just some dice didn't roll in my favor, and that's fine. That's dice games.
That's how it goes.
Painting and collecting is 90% of the hobby for me, and then gaming is a perk, honestly, because I don't get to do it very often. But
yeah.
And we don't need to talk about it. It's not cards, but it's fun. It's a thing that I played this week.
Yeah. So on to our other topics. What do you got? You want to talk about Misfail? You want to talk about Rudy's crazy video? You want to talk about Modern Horizons 3? You want to talk about price value? What else?
Man, choices. All right, let's talk about some Flesh and Blood. Let's talk about Misfail and how it's sold out of print. No, it's sold out.
It's not out of print.
No.
Not freak out, people.
Sold out of distributor. We tried to order some. Couldn't.
Yeah. Not available.
Not available. That's fine. It will be.
But it will be definitely. But it's kind of cool because it does help keep the prices up. Because
and it shows there's a lot of interest in the set, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And
anime, naked ladies.
In case of emergency, break glass.
Is that what
Um,
that's called? In case of emergency, waifu.
yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of chatter on our Discord, which I know heavy hitters brought some chatter, but I don't think it's been a long time since we've had this much chatter on new
About a
cards in the
set. Yeah, yeah,
Discord.
yeah. Well, and what they did is something that I find interesting, and if it continues, it may be really, really interesting.
Hmm.
But they introduced a new axis of build and play,
Yeah,
which is the new resource type.
yeah.
Makes me wonder if someday there may be 5 colors.
Mm.
I was thinking about that. I was like, if they continue down this path, what if there's a red resource basis, a blue resource basis? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like maybe it's only 3. I don't know, but why couldn't they develop down resource, you know, directions? I,
yeah.
I
Why
think it's
not?
possible. Yeah, I think
I
it's
think it's
very
smart.
possible. Yeah.
It's another
Anyways,
axis you can
build on, do all
build
sorts of stuff.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. And since the cards last forever,
Hmm.
assuming the game lasts, like it totally, you could build up large pools around these sets and the way they work. I
Oh
don't.
yeah.
So far, they haven't done that sort of thing because they have introduced like new mechanics and then not revisited for a while. So, like Elemental, for
Yeah.
example.
Where you at?
So
Tails
yeah,
2.
exactly. Where you at? Which it will
Return
come
to
back.
Tales of Aria.
Yeah, we will see it again. It's just it's slow. It's much slower progression of development than
I'd be
something
pretty
like
excited
Elemental.
about that though.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea if it does happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, kind of sidetracked on that. Any other than the excitement on Miss Vale, other thoughts on the new cards or anything?
Um, this set is not for me. Um, I've kind of taken a step back from Fab, um, just because I only have so much time in my
No, let's
week.
be honest, because Star Wars. Just say
No, that's where I was going.
it.
Because
Because Star Wars.
I only have so much time in my week, and I've been hyper fixating on Star Wars, and Star Wars has really allowed me to do that in any aspect of free time that I do find myself with.
You have the right. You can micromanage the length of Star Wars you consume,
Yes,
depending on what the size of time you have.
yes.
I get it.
I have comic books that I can read on my phone or iPad. I
Yeah,
have a book on my nightstand that I can read. I
yeah,
have miniatures that I can paint. I have a card game that I can go play in person or online.
yeah. I get you.
I
I
have
get you.
audiobooks I can listen to when I drive. I'm good. I'm
You're
good.
in it.
And it's all done really well. I'm not saying that Fab doesn't. Fab does everything it does very well. But
It's not a
it's not a
45-year-old IP.
45-year-old
Yeah, like
IP.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And so I just have been
Is that right?
in
I don't even remember when it came out. Like how is it? It might be
70.
50 years?
Yeah.
God, Jesus. Anyways, I wasn't
Um
alive when it came out,
no,
people.
no, no.
I'm not that old.
One of the earliest Halloween costumes I have a picture of myself in though was Luke Skywalker. So
Nice. Nice.
my mom made me and my brother handmade Jedi costumes one year, and I cherish those pictures. Um,
So hype set.
yeah, it's a
Rudy
hype set.
loves it.
Rudy loves it. Evie is great. Just
I
rip all your
disagree.
boxes.
Yeah, what I think he's crazy.
It's insane. He's
I
just
don't
trying to
know.
decrease the amount of boxes out there.
It might be true, but I don't know. Like okay, maybe he's shilling or whatever, which I
Yeah,
know lots of people say he does, but
yeah.
I honestly think he just has no idea of the EV because he
No,
doesn't do that stuff very frequently, and he doesn't do a weekly update or something like
no.
that, right? So his sense of reality versus people that look at the data is just different. And he does look at data for some things, but I don't think he
Yeah,
did for this. It looks like, or it sounded like, he just sorted by most expensive, not taking into account the rarity challenge of getting it. But when I look at EV, it does not match what he's saying.
yeah.
So I would not go and rip all your boxes.
No.
If I were you. Now he is right about the sell-through rate is utility, right? It's on cards,
Yes.
not boxes.
Yeah,
So
and I do agree with that. I
yeah,
do
100%.
cards single cards in Flesh of Blood sell way better than boxes.
It's about the gameplay.
Yeah.
That's the entire market is built that way, and it is now completely that way. I don't think it's arguable
Yeah.
otherwise. I know like Saints out there still collecting. I saw a video where he was at what was the last big thing? Maybe the Pro Tour? and was buying and selling stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see it as it's the biggest collector's world anymore.
No, I mean, if I was looking to move my sealed product, I probably would rip it and sell singles. But I'm not
Well, that
looking
was
to.
the other thing when he said that. You know what I immediately thought?
Hmm.
Oh God, I don't want to list those.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I remember trying to list Fab in like mass as opposed to just like the key
Yeah,
hits. Freaking impossible.
yeah.
Like it's really hard because the color, you end up with the same card, but it's yellow. No, it's blue. No, it's red. You can't, none of the detectors
I
can
don't
figure
think
it out.
any commons or rares are worth listing.
Well, there's that too. I mean, because they're not worth
You
anything.
only list majestics and legendaries, and even then, some majestics.
Well, if you're doing that, then God, the amount of waste from a
Yeah,
mass box opening.
yeah,
Like you're literally talking dumpsters full of cards
yes,
because there's only so many of those.
correct.
Yeah, no.
Welcome to the BCW
Glad
boxes
there's
under my
paper.
bed.
Yeah, glad there's paper packs at least.
Yeah, yeah.
If that's a strategy people are taking, God, I hope that's not happening. I don't think it is, honestly, but I could be wrong.
No, no, no. I'm stalled out, and uh, I know something will draw me back, but it's not Miss Vale.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Those cards do seem bonkers.
Yeah, Assassin. This seems like Assassin's finally going to be good now. Not
Oh yeah.
that Azuri
Oh yeah.
wasn't. Azuri's won her fair share of stuff and does well,
Yeah.
but these cards look
Bonkers.
nuts.
Like there's an extra level of going crazy here.
Yeah, and that new card that might replace Command and Conquer in some decks, the generic.
Yeah.
That's just to make good for everybody.
Yeah.
See if I can find it.
I don't recall what it is, but I remember what you're talking about because I remember seeing the conversation.
Yeah, here it is. The weakest link. Swings for 6, blocks 3, costs 2 red. When this hits a hero, look at their hand and choose a card from it without base defense. If you do, they discard it and you draw a card.
Now, how many people go without base defense cards? It's not that many, right? It's like
I mean, I'm not scared of it as a
4.
warrior,
Yeah, you wouldn't be at
but
all, but
I
there are decks
do
that have that a lot,
but
right?
I do have some. So it would affect me sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. Gotcha.
So like there's in certain matchups it'll be a guarantee that they're going to have one pretty much. And then in other decks it'll depend on who you're going up against, but I
And it's
think
a 2/6.
most decks have some. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 2 for 6 that blocks
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, so it works in illusionist.
Yeah.
If is that still a thing?
Oh
It is,
yeah,
right? Okay.
this is going to be super anti-illusionist.
Yeah, like, but was it Phantasm or whatever? Is like if it's six
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
Okay, that's still a thing. I couldn't remember if that
On
rotated out or
older
not. I don't know.
cards, they don't print new ones.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, does that matter anymore? Because now we have a new illusionist.
Those are
like,
still being played. It matters.
It is. Okay, yeah. That's why I wasn't sure if it's still being played or rotated out completely. Yeah. Well, then it's a good card.
Yeah.
It's a good card with an extra good effect in some cases.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Other things on Miss Vale? Only other thing I can talk about is so far on pre-sales, it's a little low. It's not terrible.
It's lower than
sold
heavy
out.
hitters?
Let me see what heavy hitters is. I think so. Let me double check though. Did it compared to outside? Yeah, it's lower than heavy hitters. At this point, well, are we full? Maybe not. When's the release date on this? I want to be fair on the comparison. It's the end of the month, I thought, right? We're 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
Oh, with another 2 weeks of data, this may change, but basically,
May
as of right
31st.
now, yeah, okay, yeah. As of right now, it's at 300 versus heavy hitters. Full pre-release time frame was 865, and again, as the hype builds,
Yeah.
things will probably sell. 120,000 in sales for heavy hitters at this stage. Only 23,000 for miss fail at this stage, but it's pre-release, so that's not the easiest comparison, and it's 2 weeks until the actual release, so we'll
Yeah.
see. I think this data will be more meaningful probably like next week because all the spoilers will be done by Monday. This might be worth revisiting next week, actually, just to see
Yeah.
if it's catching up. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how it plays. It is a pretty set. Art's good. Waifu's not my style, but I like all the blue and the space stuff. Like
Yeah. It's very
that
pretty.
crazy astral space
The
card that's
border.
just like a
Yeah.
mystic one. Yeah, I was like, whoa, that art's cool.
But I know there was some controversy going around the Star City Games promo card is a cold foil Slither, which is a very good card. And they're selling it for a round map. And so I know stores have been complaining that, like, how do we compete with this? But, you know.
Okay.
Yep.
Everyone complains about something.
Yeah. I just want that to stop.
Yeah,
So bad.
The card I was thinking of was Attune with Cosmic Vibrations. Freaking love that art. I would definitely buy that in full art if they had a full art version of that.
Yeah.
Just because I like that art. That's art for the shelf, regardless of the game or anything else. Like I would definitely buy that.
Yeah.
It's just a cool looking card. Yeah. But they do have some good art in here.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
have some sexy cards, which I'm sure will pull some people in.
Slither is one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of sexy cards, I got my free sexy card from the Dust System of Sorcery.
What is that?
Yeah, they launched their dust system fully. So the system was there for collecting dust based on the little scratch off codes on the bottom of the boxes. You get I don't remember how many, like, it's got to be like 50 or something per box you open, maybe 100. I don't remember how many. But they launched the way to spend them for the first time in the last couple of days. And if you want to do that, as we just said, you should tell people how to get to things if you're going to talk about it. You go to the sorcery website, sorcerytcg.com, hit play, and then called the Play Network. And then in the Play Network is the rewards section. And that's also what they launched is the full Play Network software. So they're doing in-store event support now. Pretty cool. There's an entire system for getting dust, which you can turn into real things by playing, participating, or hosting. So stores that host get dust, which is cool because you can get boxes. The players that play and win get more dust so they can buy t-shirts and cards and stuff. And this is all really cool, like promo stuff. So specialized art for Waypoint Portal, which is the one I got with my dust from the boxes I opened. They have a Pudge Butcher where the art is the backside of it. And this is a fun little story. They talked about it in the video. If you see the video about this out there, basically someone loved Pudge Butcher so much because it was like a real meta card in the beginning that they made a 3D model of it, like your Star Wars dioramas type things, which is really cool because it's an ugly card and they made this 3D model out of it, which is disgusting. And in that's what you want way, right? And the funny thing is because they took a 2D image, turned it into a 3D model, they had to make up stuff. So on the back, where you can't see, you have this pudgy creature with its folds of fat kind of falling out from it in a puddle almost, right? And this card can't move on the board, unlike a lot of the creatures, which is kind of the fun of it. Well, its feet are sticking out under its big fat butt cheeks. And like they're crushed there, and they're tiny little feet, which everyone thought was the most hilarious thing. And this was just a fan made model, right? This came out of nowhere. Somebody made this and sent it to someone else. I think they sent it into the actual developers of the game, who actually had a freak out on it a little bit because it had caution tape all over it. Anyways, there's a side tangent to it. Because of that, when they asked the artist to do this special art, they did the image of the back of it based on the model, which is really like artist community game developers all coming together to like build something fun and like recognizable, and it's a fun card, like it's a good card, so having this one is definitely a fun thing. Anyways, so they put out a bunch of rewards. The full-size foot soldiers, if you remember how the foot soldiers are like quarter-size cards because they screwed that up in the beginning. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
You can finally get full-sized ones.
Sweet.
Get a pack of 3. Yeah. They have a bunch of play mats that are half-size play mats, which I actually think I'm going to prefer because the big one's a pain in the butt to lug around. And then they have the beautiful art by, what's his name? Boris Vallejo, probably ruining that, but one of the classic artists, similar to the other ones I've talked about in the past, from like the Conan and early D&D days or whatever. Made
Tell
a
me you're
beautiful waypoint portal, which is what I could afford. So that's what I got. They also sold alpha boxes, additional alpha boxes for dust codes. So you could actually get more alpha for free, basically.
What? That's pretty sick.
And it sold out within 30 minutes.
Yeah, that checks out.
Everyone who opened a ton immediately bought more. And it's cool, but that's the sort of thing they're going to do with this going forward, which will also be available to players that compete and do very well. Also available to people who just participate. They specifically said, and I'm going to repeat this for the crowd. I'm not sure that matters so much for the crowd because Sorcery is kind of a chill game anyways, but they specifically said they really don't want people to grind games for dust. They're like, do not run around to every city, town, and otherwise just to get dust, because that's against the spirit of what we're trying to do with this game.
Yeah.
So I'm just passing that message along. I personally agree with it. I know there's people that will disagree with it and want to do that anyways. But you can get some pretty cool stuff by just it's kind of like a built-in gold foil system. You know what I mean? Like a way to buy stuff that you can probably sell for money. So it makes it kind of worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these special arts, special mats, t-shirt, hoodie, and then occasionally boxes, which are sold out. That's the only thing that's sold out so far.
Dang. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool system. I like it. It's a fun little thing. I will probably never play an officially sanctioned game.
Yeah.
Unless it's someone I know is hosting it and they want people to show up.
Right.
Which is possible. We have one of those potential out there. But it's nice to get, an extra cool art card for opening some boxes. So I dig it. It's a cool system. And it's official.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds cool. I do like when trying to think, broader than card games, but just companies, I guess, for lack of a better term, just do things like that to reward dedicated
the
people
fans
who are invested in their
totally
thing.
Yeah, 100%. And they are a very community oriented game. Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. It'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. Neat. And the next set is this fall, right?
Oh yeah. They said, don't quote me on this, I could be wrong. It's either, I'm pretty sure it's early Q4. They said the early part of Q4. But don't quote me on that. Go find the actual official, because I don't want to mislead people if I'm wrong. But I believe that's what they said. So, October, November.
Yeah, I think that's when. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but also not too worried about it. Like, that's the good thing about Sorcery. It doesn't take a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Unlike things like Magic and whatnot.
Yeah. That is. I don't know. I guess that kind of ties back to what, with hyperfixation on Star Wars, all the different things that I'm doing are all low energy, low effort things.
Right.
Which is
it's
nice.
Not hard
like,
to keep up with Star Wars, is it? When there's only one set so far.
Yep.
Yep.
And we do have a bunch of
when's
new cards. July.
Okay, so there's still some time.
Yeah. I haven't even seen. I saw one store offering up pre-orders on pre-release events, but that's about it. I haven't seen any boxes go up yet.
We shall see.
But I know that should be happening soon.
It's a little early. I think pre-release on like TCG players usually a month out, maybe a month and a half.
Yeah.
So at least a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's good. It's good to have games that are a calmer pace. Magic is hard to keep up with. I'm still trying to process Outlaws, and MH3's coming.
Yeah.
I did buy an Outlaws deck, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, I bought the Grand Larceny because I had so much fun with that the Captain whatever, the guy with the tentacles, Nargaroth or whatever. Because he steals stuff, and I thought that was a lot of fun. So they have an OTJ deck that steals stuff as well.
Nice.
So I got that, and I haven't gotten a chance to play with it because, like, normally I would goldfish to learn the deck, but you can't goldfish a deck whose job is to steal stuff from other decks.
Yeah, that's fair.
It doesn't really
It doesn't
work.
work.
Like, you
Yeah.
can't. I
You
need
don't
to
know.
test with
Yeah.
real people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm just gonna take my time with that one. It'll be a slow builder.
Yeah.
So my other one that I'm obsessing over is Dina. I'm finally putting her together, and it's a little bit degenerate. I would say 3 out of 5 games I get to and this is gold fishing, right? So playing real people is going to be slower and less efficient, but I get to infinite combo that auto wins the game by turn 5 to 7.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a little too degenerate, I think, because
that's
now,
quick.
granted, again, needs to be real life tested because some of those combos involve creatures, which most decks have a number of ways to get rid of creatures, right?
Mhm.
So if they see the combo coming, they can ping it and get rid of it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I need to test it, but it does feel a little degenerate. This is in response to me not being allowed to play counter spells. I was like, fine, I'll play green black and kill you with combos you can't even do anything about.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it actually holds up, though. It may not. I've had other decks that felt like they were this powerful, and then I played them, and I was like, oh no, this is a terrible deck.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was grinding a lot of Allies of Thunder Junction draft, quick draft when it was available. Got one 6 win. I haven't gotten a whole 7 win, but keeping it on a rotation where I either make gems or lose like 100 gems but get a bunch of packs. So it seems pretty good. Been getting a hang of the format, which is a lot of fun. And
so we're not going to do OTJ today for Winston, right?
We don't have to, no.
Okay, because you'll just crush me and it won't be fun.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I haven't looked at anything on March of the Machine, so we can do that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I can bring something else too, but we can talk about that after.
Yeah. And but now the quick draft is Dominaria United, so I'm taking a little bit of a break and just still getting my gold for when it comes back, but
I wish I could get back into it. Every time I've tried, I've just not enjoyed playing on Arena, which is weird because I was really into it for a long time.
Yeah, I don't really care whether I win or lose in the grinding because none of the quests are like win X games. Man. So I just have decks that I play. Like I have a Lord of the Rings deck in Historic, and I have a standard deck.
Might be why, because it feels pointless.
What?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no real, like, I think that's why I always just feel like it's work and not fun.
Oh, it is work to get the quest done.
Yeah, and it just feels like, why am I doing this? I don't care if I win or lose. It doesn't matter. Like, what am I doing with my time?
Well, then the reward is getting enough gold to do free drafts.
Sure, yeah, I get that.
And then I just do those in a cycle. Like I have over 5,000 gems right now, and I haven't spent any money just because from turning gold into gems from these events.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah. Hey, to each his own. Everyone has their thing.
Yeah.
I sit here and play with Architect and design decks and goldfish them all day. Yeah. Like, we all have our weird little things that we obsess over and do.
Absolutely.
Get it.
I did want to talk about some Shadows of the Galaxy spoilers, though.
Yeah.
Some interesting takeaways from it. So they are not afraid if a character has been in set 1 to go into set 2 as well, if they are a popular enough character and they fit the theme. And Boba Fett does. We have a new Boba Fett leader. But he's green-white. So we have Boba Fett on the hero side, not the villainy side.
Interesting. I dig that. So, okay, so they're going to have duplicate heroes, different subtitle, I assume?
Yep.
Yeah.
And different unique units. The subtitle is right below the name. Like this Boba Fett is Boba Fett Daimyo?
Daimyo?
Daimyo. Daimyo?
Damio,
Damyo?
is that the like the Asian Lord Warlord title or something like that?
Maybe he's sitting on a throne, so it could be.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like it. Yeah, because there was a period where Boba Fett, I think it's in the Boba Fett series,
Yeah.
where he becomes like the war boss or whatever.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And now we have Bosk as a leader, but he's red black, and he was a unit in yellow black in the first set. But then we get a bunch of new characters like Bo-Katan is going to be a new leader. We get the armor, we get the Mandalorian, obviously, both as a unit and a leader. And so we're getting a bunch of Mandalorian type characters, but we're also getting a bunch of clones, which is super cool.
Is
So each
Grogu
set
in
kind
this
of has
set?
two. Grogu is in the set. He's been upgraded to have 4 fingers instead of 3.
Wait, what? What? Someone
Uh,
did the art wrong in one of
yeah,
those
someone
versions?
did the art wrong and gave him 4 fingers.
Oh, poor Grogu.
Yeah, but the art is him reaching for the ball,
That's so
the little
funny.
knob.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, it was a. It was like one of the first cards shown off, and everyone's first response was not
He doesn't
anything to
have
do
4
with the
fingers.
card, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have 4 fingers.
Oh, poor Grogu.
Yeah, but I've been looking at blue black because that's the deck I'm currently playing and seeing what we're getting so far. And there's a new removal, calculated lethality, that is defeat a non. This won't be in draft though because it's part of the starter decks. Defeat a non-leader unit, which is pretty common. That costs 3 or less. For each upgrade that was on that unit, give an experience token to a friendly unit. So +1/+1 to a friendly unit for each upgrade that was on the unit that you killed.
Nice.
But then the other big things, I think we've talked about them before, but our bounty. They released
bounty we've talked about. Yeah.
probably one of the most powerful cards got released that I've seen, in my opinion, is Jango Fett. He's red black and costs 4. He's a 3/6, but while he's attacking a unit with a bounty, he gets +3 and overwhelm, which is trample
Oh my god.
for your magic
That's
people. So then so if he's going after someone with a bounty, that if you kill them, you get a reward. He gets an extra +3 and leaks to your base.
Yeah, that's gross.
And then we're not done, John. When this unit attacks and defeats a unit, which he probably did if he's attacking a bounty, swinging for 6, draw a card. Draw a card in this game is very strong.
That is very strong. What the hell?
He's a 4-cost 3/6 that sometimes swings for 6 with overwhelm.
Oh no, he always swings for 6 with overwhelm and draws a card, because otherwise, what are you even doing with your life? Like, come
Well, no,
on.
your
That's
opponent's
insane.
deck may not have bounty cards.
Oh, it's only if they. I thought you could put bounties on.
No,
things.
while attacking a unit with a bounty. So he has to be the bounty hunter
Oh.
attacking the bounty.
I thought there was a way to put bounties on other. Like
There
on
is.
opponent.
There is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they don't have to be playing it, because your deck is built around things like this. Is what I'm imagining, right?
I don't think the ones we've seen are in red black though.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's a more balanced card.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would be busted, because that seems really good.
Yeah.
So yes, sometimes he does that.
Yeah.
That might be too weak then, if it's only sometimes and you can't build bounties around that.
Or it's a
deck.
sideboard card. But I think
Well, yeah, fair.
But I think just in general, I don't think it even matters because at 4, a 3/6 is super sticky. Ignore that first part. It doesn't matter whether they have a bounty or not. If he kills a unit, you draw a card
He still
still.
draws. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Okay, yeah. Then that
Yeah.
is good. I misunderstand. I
Yeah.
thought the draw was all
No,
part
they're
of
two
the
separate things. It's
Got
when
it.
he
Yeah, that
attacks
is
a
good.
unit and defeats it, you get to draw a card. But
Got
he
it.
gets the bonus if he's attacking something.
Something with a bounty.
And a lot of
we're still early on reveals. There's probably a way for Black Red to put bounties out.
probably.
I mean, I can't imagine how could you have Black and Red not put bounties out when you have things.
They're the
like-
ones that put the bounties out.
That's what I was about to say. Like, think of the lore, man. Think of the
Yeah.
lore. Like all of the Vader bounties, all of the oh god, what's the guy with the double lightsaber? The red and black guy?
Maul.
Maul, his when he was a warlord and all that stuff, there was bounties from black and red seems like a given. In fact, I would be surprised if there wasn't a lot of ways to do it eventually.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing is like each set is going to make this game grow. So between all the new keywords and all the new things that they're adding to this second set, it definitely feels like an Arcane Rising where they are bringing in Arcane, they are bringing in new axes for the game to be played on.
Yeah,
which is super exciting because I was very worried that they were going to play it safe and just keep to not that Star Wars the first set is simple. It's simple to learn, but then can get very deep. But this new set gives me hope that it's going to be able to get much deeper.
Yeah, I think that's a given. If you're designing 7 sets from the start, isn't that what they said?
Yeah.
It's a given that they have built things to flow into other things to build out the structure. You know what I mean? Like, because when you're designing the set, you're thinking 3 sets ahead. And when you do that, you naturally figure out new axes of development because that one keeps it interesting for you. And 2, opens up the ability for the gameplay and that sort of thing and design options in the later part. The hard part is not designing yourself into a corner where you screw yourself.
Yeah.
That's hard.
And then the next set in Q4, we're getting Twilight of the Republic, which has me pretty excited.
Interesting.
I wonder if because they've
so we'll get Anakin and
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm really hoping that they go down and do the High Republic when that comes out.
God, is there eventually going to be like a super Palpatine deck?
There already is. There's a good Palpatine deck.
No. I mean, multiple types of Palpatine because you could do them all the way back from the New Republic.
Oh, yeah. Just play all the Palpatines.
All the Palpatines. Cinder, whatever his name was.
They're all unique. So you can only have one of them on the board at a time. But if they have a different subheader, you can have both of them out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I would bet there's a way
I don't.
It would be funny if there is.
You would just probably have a high power curve because you wouldn't. I don't think they're going to print a 2-drop Palpatine.
It's more for a meme. I'm not saying it's good.
So you just you take the blue-black shell of just a bunch of removal, and then you just play a bunch of Palpatines at the end. It does. I do play Palpatine in that deck. When he comes down, he's a 6/6 with Overwhelm, so trample, and then deals 6 damage divided amongst units. So he basically just comes in, does his electrify things, kills all the small things, and then is a big body around.
Yeah. I'm guessing you won't be able to do Anakin with Vader.
Why not?
Betting the color differences. I mean, I guess you could force it with the cheat rule, but I mean...
Yeah.
I guess you could just always force it. It's, yeah, because he's going to be different colors, right? Because he's on the Republic side at that point, you know?
Oh, true. Yeah, you can't mix those.
Oh, you can't. Okay,
no,
yeah.
No.
Then okay, then you will not be able to.
Yeah, those are hard. You can't.
That's a hard rule. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's the aspect colors. So the red, yellow, green.
Got it.
Blue. Yeah. I have been seeing, there's been a couple like super aggro Sabine decks going double red with Tarkin Town. And I got 2 hyperspace. I just was doing some trades recently with some locals who were looking for playable cards, and they had really nice hyperspace foils, legendaries that they wanted to get rid of. So I made some trades and got 2 hyperspace foil aggressions that I really want to put in a deck. They're the 2 red.
Right.
That is the choose 2 like vigilance.
Yeah, the nasty power card.
Yeah. But it is, your options are draw a card, defeat up to 2 upgrades, ready a unit with 3 or less power so you can attack with them again, which is all of your cards in Sabine usually, and deal 4 damage to a unit so you get to remove something. So
It's a power card.
Seems pretty good. And that costs 4? That seems pretty good.
So the Red Go Burr deck is coming together?
It's not performing well.
Oh, isn't?
No.
Well.
And then also you lose U-Wing, so you just auto lose to control.
Not enough cards to
So
support
you're
the
yeah,
dragon.
yeah, yeah. Because the U-wing is the response to control in Sabine and Leia,
Gotcha.
and that's green. So as long as your leader has green, which is Leia does by default, but Sabine is red white. So if you go red base, you would need to go green base, which ECL, the rare green base, is much better in villainy because of the ramp cards that heroism doesn't have. So maybe down the road when heroism,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
yeah,
Once the card pool builds out,
has that ramp. So
maybe we'll see.
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the color identities develop over time.
Yeah. Also, another discussion we were having, I think it was this week offline, talking about predictions for how the next set's going to go,
Yeah.
and how I don't think we'll see the $90 boxes. Well, I could be wrong, but I don't think we'll see the $90 boxes. I think we'll see them somewhere between 90 and the MSRP 120 early during pre-orders. And then I do expect it to sell out like set one. It may take a little longer.
They definitely printed more.
Yes, they said that. Yeah.
But the demand seems like it's pretty high, assuming people are still with it by that point, which I think they will be.
Yeah.
The angry I can't get box attrition is not that big usually for new games. It exists.
I had someone reach out to me today or Friday asking to build them a whole deck.
Nice.
Like there are people still jumping into the game.
Of course. It's big, it's hype. It's like I said, it's easily gonna survive its little, mishap. Every game gets the mishap in the beginning.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, this is fine. This is their mishap. It's not that big of one. In fact, as far as it goes, they've done better than most first releases, if you ask me. But yeah, it's by set 2, we will see where it is. And I do think, like you said, I think you're right on that the volume will be higher and it will still sell out. I think your prices will get high. I do want to bring something up. I don't know if I brought this up in a previous episode. I may have. It's been a while since I saw this fact. I was doing a little research to find out about print run possibilities, right? And historically, Asmodee has not print to demand, but print to availability need.
Yeah. And they said they've done that. They're going to do that.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things where will we get wave 2 of set 1 and never have it again? The answer is probably no.
No.
That there will almost always be some level of boxes available to a degree. I don't know what degree, because I think most of their games don't last as long as this one's already planned to last.
Yeah.
So question mark. But historically, what has happened is that the boxes have been available like at distro level. They just do smaller print runs and keep it in supply in their own warehouse or whatever. So we shall see how that plays out with this one, because I have a feeling it's not going to be the same as before.
Well, yeah. And they just, I don't know if you saw, let me see if I can find the article. Fifth Trooper came out with a good article going over it about Asmodee getting, not print runs, but Asmodee getting saddled with a bunch of debt. So part of when they were purchased by, let me see. I don't want to misspeak, but I'll find an article and send it to you after. We'll talk about it in next week's podcast once you review it, because I want your opinion on it.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. It would be worth taking a look
because that would incentivize them to print this as much as they can.
Yeah, especially with the demand where it is. I mean, it's in a healthy state of demand, so I don't see why you wouldn't. Especially if you're getting any attrition from inability to get product, I think having some more is a good thing. Now, the magic line that no one can calculate is how much more, because too much more is too much, right?
Right.
And you just don't want to hit that point, because then people get mad about it. I guess this seems like a gameplay. Like, it's, while there's collectibles, it seems like a game-driven market mostly, anyways.
Yeah, you see I think there's both.
There's definitely both. it's still just it's in the early hype phase. So I don't think that collectability thing is the biggest consideration at this point.
Right.
But the fact that they don't have any stated policies about it that protect collectors, it as a collector type, it makes me nervous. Now I'm not collecting this, and I don't know if the Star Wars collectors give a crap, honestly.
About
Because
this?
no, about if this is not going to have if they're going to print too many boxes.
Oh,
right?
they don't care.
Yeah,
They
I
just
was like,
want-
if you're a Star Wars collector, because they're not TCG collectors,
No,
right? It's
no.
a different
They're
breed.
Star Wars collectors.
They're Star Wars collectors. They have been around for 50 years.
They got
will
the thing,
outlive
and then
the
they
entire
don't. They
game.
no
Yeah,
longer
exactly.
look.
Yeah. I think they think about it differently than card collector
Yes.
types. So yeah, I'm not sure that it matters if they keep printing the first set, second set. You know what I mean? Or if they don't. While it will have some impact in the couple years, whatever time frame, from a Star Wars collector standpoint, I don't think it matters. So interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see how this plays out. Don't fuck it up, Asmodee. you got a good thing going.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right.
So stay tuned next week. We'll have a lot to talk about. And let us know down in the comments what you're playing. Let us know you made it. #made it.
Yeah, thanks for that comment last time.
Yeah, you're a champion. We appreciate you.
We were just talking about it. Like no
one makes it to the end.
Hashtags,
and then you did it.
And then
you did it.
We were both very happy about that.
We appreciate you.
That was Devin, right?
Yeah, Devin. Thank you. We appreciate you. Yeah. So if you want to be called out in the #Make It Club,
yeah,
put #made it down in the comments, and we'll call you out next week.
That's right.
So until then, we'll catch you guys later.
Have a good one.